Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first fill week of TEL 707. So every week, including this one, Dennis and I will be sharing videos to supplement the main learning materials and ensure you understand each week's module, the purpose, as well as the requirements. So beginning here with module 1. So as you've probably already figured out, you can access module 1 from the main course Canvas page, the home page, by just clicking on module 1, or from the left side of your screen, there's a menu bar here and you can just click on modules, which will pull up all of the content for each week. So you're going to want to go now to module 1, click on that, and you'll see here, as with almost all of the modules, there are 3 different tabs on your view. So the first provides you with an overview of the module, the second with required readings, as well as some supplemental material, and the final is for media around different videos and other resources for you related to that module content. So this week specifically, our purpose is to continue introducing you and orienting you to the program, as well as to get you to sort of start understanding expectations in this EDD program around writing. And then finally, from a more practical standpoint, to reorient you to the problem of practice that you plan to focus on throughout your EDD program and potentially into your dissertation. So we have different readings and media, and as well as assignments that are aligned with those goals. So first of all, the readings. So as you can see here, there are several sections from your textbook that you should have access to via this online, these online course materials. There's a link at the top left on the sort of menu bar for the course to access that textbook, as well as the APA publication manual. So the first reading is about, again, research problems, which is a really important topic. So a key thing to remember is that your research problem is different from the purpose of your research, right? So the research problem is really the argument for why your study is important. And the purpose of the research is what your study will actually do. So our focus here, and as you'll see from the readings, really we're going to be thinking about why you should even be doing a study about a topic, not yet what you're actually going to do with that study. So you'll want to do this reading here. And then also, as you'll see, the first assignment will be to post to the discussion board a succinct summary of your problem of practice that you're thinking you might want to focus on now in 3 to 4 sentences. So again, remember, the discussion board assignment is related to your proposed research problem, not the purpose of your study. So then, after you get into and start thinking about research problems, we have some reading sort of starting to orient you to the idea of literature reviews. So most importantly, we're thinking about how to align your research problem with the types of existing study and evidence that are already out there. And so you'll be doing a short reading, only part of chapter 4 about that. And then also the main video that we have here to watch, this Sage video, is also kind of a complement to this second reading from chapter 4. So I encourage you to, first of all, read chapter 3, then read chapter 4, then watch the Sage video here on the media page, and then finally look at the APA information. So just to sort of orient you to about then the APA material. So it might seem a little dense and esoteric for you right now. And I encourage you in 2 years, fast forward to 2 years when you get to starting your dissertation proposal, you might want to reread this. But for now, there's just a few things I want to highlight for you about APA writing standards that will be good to keep in mind now. So first of all, APA is not just about formatting references. So it actually is about writing itself. And that's what chapter 4 really helps you to kind of think about, how to write in an academic way and sort of the standard that's generally accepted in journals, as well as sort of overall generally the education profession in academia. So there are a few things one thing that I actually want to highlight that often comes as a surprise to doctoral students in this program I found is that actually APA calls for you not to use the third person in your writing. So you'll see, actually, you're supposed to use the first person, talk about yourself, I, rather than the third person when you're describing the work that you're doing as part of your research and expressing your own views. Like I said, this is often something that comes up when I start working with LSCs and a surprise to many people, because I think in the hard sciences, those who've learned the scientific method, it's sort of hammered home. You're not supposed to talk about yourself as I, you're supposed to call yourself the researcher. But actually, in fact, according to APA style, and then also sort of more pragmatically, based on the epistemology of what action research really is, it's personal. You can't separate your study and the work you're doing from you as the researcher. We're not, doing this in some sort of controlled lab where there's, a robot researcher doing your study and your research. You're in your college, you're working with students, you're working with your colleagues, and you are the one that is doing this work. So that's just something I wanted to highlight related to what the APA Chapter 4 talks about, that I've seen a lot of students in this EDD program not sort of realize. So yeah, so that's kind of just a basic overview, as I said, of what the learning materials are. And then, as I mentioned as well, the assignments for this first module, pretty easy. We have this introductory activity that perhaps you've already done at this point, I hope, which really isn't related to the content, but more about getting, allowing Dennis and I to get to know you better. And then the discussion board. So as I mentioned, we'll want you to state your problem of practice as part of your post, and then aligned with what you'll read in the literature review section, list 10 potential keywords you think you would use to find related information about your study. What I want to emphasize as well, you don't actually have to go out into the literature yet and search. We just want you to be thinking about terms you would use in order to gather research that's been published related to your problem of practice. So hopefully that all makes sense and everything is pretty straightforward here. But if you have any questions, please, again, feel free to email me or Dennis, or you can post again from this virtual page in the Canvas page in this virtual office section. So thanks so much, and I hope you all have a really great week.